you guys' days up a little bit. Isn't it lovely and smooth now that we don't have flippin' VSync issues? Oh god, it's amazing. I really can't quite believe it, to be honest. Absolutely insane. All right, let's do this then. Neeb vs aLive, best of 3 PvT, and yeah, just more series from the IEM Katowice group stages, basically. So let's do this. The bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player, it is going to be aLive. Because I think this is now our 8th series we've cast today, which is pretty good going. I'm going to do 9 series overall, I think. That's pretty decent for a day of casting. And to the top left-hand side, the Blue Protoss player. Give it up for not aLive, for Neeb. Got there in the end. Yo, Roddy, we're here just listening while I work. What's up, RX Grim? Good to see you around. Good to be back, man. Always feels good when you're away for a little while, haven't casted for a few days. Always good to get back in the swing of things and get casting again. Even better that we can actually cast from the studio office and apparently not have any issues today, which is progress. It's nice. It's nice. So we set up into this best of 3 PvT right now, Neeb vs aLive, and we look to see where we're going to be heading in the next few minutes, as we see a Nexus on the way up for Neeb. And aLive obviously had a really sick run at IEM Katowice, really kind of came out of the woodwork and just surprised everyone, honestly. But I mean, honestly, aLive in the last couple of months has been playing so well. I think back to Home Story Cup, and at Home Story Cup, aLive just showed up and was just like, cool, I'm just going to start beating everyone. And, you know, that's kind of exactly what he did. Like, he just came out of nowhere and started winning all of these matches where he just won and won and won and won. You know, he just didn't stop. And he was taking down all these great Protoss players, especially his PvT. TVP was very on point. And this was pre-3.8 as well, so it was before TVP became completely broken. So aLive really has just been playing fantastically as of late, if I do say so myself. I'm just going to be seeing this Reaper, just going to pop on up and just have a little bit of a look to see what's going on. Fairly early expand from both players then, really nothing too crazy. Both players setting up into their, more or less one of the more standard early games you can see from either race in the matchup. This is actually, I think this might be our first TVP we cast today, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, first TVP we cast so many series. Kind of crazy. Again, we'll try and do some more series. Again, I'm trying to think what else we can do. I do feel as though it might be worthwhile investing into kind of casting then. What was I going to say? Like casting a another day of these replays, because there's still actually quite a few cool matches. Like, we're not going to be able to cast today. That obviously maybe weren't at the top of the voted for list, but I still think would be pretty cool to watch. So we'll try and see if we can make something like that happen, as we do see two Marines and Cyclone here will get rid of this pylon in plenty of time. Loses one Marine, which is a little bit of a frustration. Cyclone locks onto the mothership core. In fact, that's a bit awkward for Neeb. He might have to recall home. Really? Is that going to happen? Oh, this is going to be really weird. Does he have a scan or something? He's going to have... Oh, he does have the scan. Is it enough? Oh, it's 1 HP and then it goes down. aLive just picks off the mothership core. And Neeb tried to recall it last second. I think he really thought it was going to get away. Alright, well that does just about work out then. So aLive with a really nice shutdown of this attempted pylon rush by Neeb. You're going to see the blink upgrade starting from Neeb as well right now, so blink is on the way. Going to be seeing the medevac is kind of being about finished as well, as we see aLive now. We'll be able to apply some pressure with the Widowmine drop some Marines as well. He might even bring the Cyclone across the map, depends how comfortable he's feeling. You know, he might feel as though he may need something at home to defend. What's he actually scouted? Not really that much. He doesn't know if there's a Stargate or something as a follow-up. I feel as though he wants to get across the map with everything, because he's killed the mothership core, right? Which means the chances of enough overcharges to help defend is pretty low if he attacks in a couple different locations. So he's really going to try and catch Neeb just out of position right now. Look to see what he can do. As well, this one medevac to the left, Widowmine and a few Marines inside of it, going to get ready to drop down. Get started. Going to see an Adept and a Stalker starting to fight their way through the Cyclone. Cyclone will just die. Picks off a Stalker, so I mean it's an okay-ish trade. Widowmine goes off, only picks off one or so probes. And the Marine's still here to pick up a few more workers as well. So it's a good few workers that are being picked off right now. And you're going to see these couple of Stalkers continue to move forwards. And nice little lift up and back in a way, boosting up towards the upper left side. 6 Marines inside, and yeah, aLive just sitting towards the top left-hand side of the map. This Widowmine moving around a little bit as well. aLive going to burrow this towards the third base, so he's going to burrow that over there. We're going to see a Liberator coming up the right-hand side of the map as well. And just looking to see if he can get this into a position where he can start picking off a couple of workers here or there. So aLive going to be continuing the pressure right now. With a mine at the third, it's going to be so nice just to try and slow things down. You can see right now that a couple of Stalkers and Adept over here to try and shut down anything that might be in position. He won't realize it until he tries to build the Nexus though, which might be a little bit of a while away. I like this from aLive. Look at that cute target firing from the Liberator. And what that is that basically if he doesn't target fire there, he probably doesn't kill a Stalker, because 3 shots to kill a Stalker now means that he wouldn't have got a kill. But as it turns out, he target fires and he gets 2 probe kills nonetheless. Widowmine does get taken down, doesn't manage to go off or anything. And he's going to be able to see the Nexus dropping from Neeb on his third base now as well. So Neeb sets up in towards his third Nexus. 3 bases from our Protoss players. A lot more Stalkers pushing down the left-hand side. They're going to be collecting together on this left-hand tower, and Prism from Neeb on the way across the map as well, looking to see what else is going on. So Prism coming across to see what he can get up to. And actually Neeb, well, he has some Stalkers, but there is a couple of tanks, and the tanks are very powerful sort of, they're very powerful to set in, a very powerful unit just set in stone right there. Keep you very safe from a lot of the Protoss attacks in the early stages. If you invest into a couple of them, you can obviously in the early stages of the game create some very powerful pushes as well. Marines in position to turn this Warp Prism away, and the Stalkers will come forward and they'll force a cancel on and supply deeper building towards the edge, picking off an SCV as well, but that will be about it. Marines still looking to try and get some damage done. aLive just moving around, seeing what he can do right here as well. Stim about to finish up. Combat Chisel +1 not far away, and that will kind of set up for the first main push of this game, which is going to be with a couple of siege tanks and pushing forward. He's going to try and get that Observer. Does he get the kill? No, not quite. Nice to pick up on it though, it's just not quite enough Marines in position. As aLive does want to stop moving out right now, he wants to hit that other side of the map when he's hitting his +1 in combat shields. Doesn't want to waste too much time, so maybe he wants to try and get across here ASAP, but at the same time, Prism looking to come back in. That's why he's sending a few Marines back, Widowmines as well. I'm just going to try and make sure this Prism has no chance at all of getting into a location where it's going to be able to do too much. Third CC will build in position as well. aLive starts to push up the left-hand side of the map, and Neeb a little bit out of position with some of his Stalkers. Although that said, as long as they make it back home, then it's still kind of okay. But he's actually going to lose 3 of them here before blinking down to the low ground. And that's still going to be a lot of Stalkers, which are not in the right place to realistically defend this push. 6 Stalkers out of location. What even is over here from Neeb? A bunch of Adepts and a couple of Sentries? No way does that hold on against this attack, I don't think, as tanks can siege up from a distance as well on the low ground. Must be careful, doesn't want to get caught in by a couple of force fields as well. Oh, that was a couple more Stalkers going down as well, and Neeb continue to take damage here as aLive. With those upgrades now in play, I'm just going to play a very safe game and pull back. He's got 2 Liberators up the right side as well as he distracts over towards the left, towards the natural, maybe threatening to drop into the main. He will hit the third base location, and that's where he's going to pick up a few probe kills right here before this pylon finishes up and before an overcharge can come into play. Only 2 probes killed, but of course aLive can just unsiege those Liberators and relocate them to be used once more. As we're going to see the triple medevac into the main base, and, well, Marines and Marauders are going to start dropping off here, and going to start simming forwards too. There's one Stalker taking a couple of shots, and this drop going to get shut down quite nicely. Neeb making the best of the situation, pushing those units away. There's the 2 Liberators moving around as well. Actually going to see these 2 Liberators starting to work their way through this Warp Prism. So Prism taking a few shots of damage. And we see these SCVs pulling down in towards the third base as well. So aLive going to have to just keep on relocating here as we're going to be seeing him. Well, he's going to have the few mules available, I guess, as you see Marines, Marauders, Widowmines, Liberators, tanks, medevacs all moving over to the right, and he's actually going to stem forwards with a few of these units to look to see what he can get done. You see this one Adept going to get shut down. aLive continue to just take the map control right here. As Neeb's still only really building up into Immortal Stalker. Like, I don't feel as though this army composition of Neeb has enough damage output in it against a bio composition like what we're seeing out of aLive right now. Neeb is not going to be caught too far out of position, but there's the Widowmines coming forwards as well. And tanks can start a siege too. What do you do as Neeb right now? I really don't understand what his goal is, because this army just cannot kill the bio. I just don't understand the composition he's been going for right here. They're going to see Widowmines picking off a lot of the Adepts. Suddenly there's no tank in this army. There's 2 siege tanks in the back still. Stalkers keep on dropping the sentries. They do a nice job force fielding, but the reality is there's still a lot of bio here. aLive, 640 supply up. as he is still putting the pressure onto Neeb in these early stages. Marauders and Marines, see what else can happen. Nice scan. Observer gets picked off. I mean, now Colossus production begins, but it's so late. And again, you gotta wonder, why did he spend so much time building these Immortals? Did he really feel as though he just needed them right then and there to be able to defend? Or, you know, is there something different to this? We're gonna see the Stim Forwards. I mean, the Immortals is gonna get targeted down one at a time at this point. Third Immortal 2 goes down, and now all of a sudden there really isn't anything that deals damage to this army. And Neeb knows that this game is over. GG, aLive picks up game number 1 of the best of 3. Of course, you guys can get the replay pack. It's probably still on the top of r/StarCraft. If you just Google IEM Katowice replay pack 2017, I'm pretty sure it would come up. But yeah, obviously all these replays are available to you guys as well. If you just want to watch the games on your own or whatever, then yeah, then you are able to. Man, I don't know what to cast next. Stats Horseman I heard was pretty cool, but Stats aLive could be pretty sick as well. It's difficult, man. How do you make a decision? How do you pick? I'm almost certain now at this point that we're gonna have to do another day of casting these replays, because this has just been so much fun and so many great games as well. Alright, bottom left side of the map, our red Terran player. He's up a game in the best of 3 against Neeb. It is aLive. And he's going up against the blue Protoss player, top right hand side of the map. Give it up for Neeb. Can he come back in this series? Down by 1. I'm pretty sure Neeb has come down from behind in the series a few times in his lifetime, so pretty sure he's not going to be too concerned about this straight away. Let's see what's going to happen. Is I'm just going to be seeing this gateway building on up to begin with. So gateway already building on up here. Going to be finishing in a moment or so. And yeah, apart from that, we just see a pro pushing forwards from Neeb. Going to just pop up into this main base and look to see what's going on. So Neeb moving around. Let's see what's happening. Let's see this Reaper is just on the way up from aLive. I'm going to see an orbital just coming down in the main base as well. aLive just patrolling backwards and forwards over here. There's the command center coming down. And there's the Nexus coming down as well from Neeb. Alright, early expand on Proxima. Proxima, an interesting map. I mean, you get the 3 bases rather easily, but very easy to drop in towards the main base, easy to drop in towards the natural as well. It's a pretty nice map for Terran, I would imagine, against Protoss. I mean, again, the benefit is the drops are powerful, but actual frontal attacks are rather weak, because, again, holding the 3 bases should be fairly easy. So, see how this is going to go. I'm trying to think what happened on Proxima during the IEM Katowice finals. I really can't quite think what happened on Proxima. Is this the map of the Proxy Stargate, perhaps? Can't remember. Maybe one of you guys knows in the chat better than I do. Can't remember for some reason. Anyways, you're gonna see. No, that was Palladino, right? Can't remember what happened on Proxima. Anyways, we're gonna see this Reaper moving around here, and we're gonna see the Adept trying to shut it down. Is not. The Reaper is not gonna get away. The Reaper Adept is successfully gonna pick up the kill right there. So Stargate's starting to build, and Neeb with a bit of a different way to set up in game number 2 here compared to game number 1. I'm going to go straight into the Stargate, probably an Oracle, perhaps 2. We'll look to see what he wants to get done with that over the next few minutes, as we do see this depth. I'm going to start shading out towards the front. Going to be moving forwards, and we see some more Marines continue to build up right now. A couple of reacted Marines just on the way out. Cyclone on the way as well. A couple more SCVs are building. Stargate is about to finish up over in the main base from Neeb, so this is what we're really looking towards. See what comes out of this. It should be an Oracle, and probably into towards the maybe, well, not necessarily, but maybe in towards Phoenix Adept, which has been a very powerful composition as of late. Now I say Phoenix Adept, I sort of believe that's what we saw happen on Proxima between TY and Stats, right? I think it was Phoenix Adept, and there's just so many Liberators in the end, and it went quite late. Could be wrong though still. Anyways, we're going to see this barracks is on the way up, and it's going to be seen it's the second racks now as aLive is opening. Very defensive with this Cyclone coming out, just making sure he's going to be very safe against anything in the early stages of the game. And Depp moving forwards from Neeb. He's going to drop just a post 4-minute Nexus, so dropping the Nexus down and again set up and ready to go. And there's going to be seeing 2 more barracks building on up. Liberator will be popping out very shortly as well, and yeah, just continue to set up into this. Widowmine actually drops over here. There's the first bit of aggression from aLive. We actually see the Oracle already out and just kept it home to revelate onto this Widowmine here. Is the Mothership Core going to overcharge in time? He will. Widowmine will die as well. Oh, that was actually very close to being a complete disaster. Didn't need to lose the first probe, but man, the rest of the probe was pretty close behind it as well. That was nearly a Widowmine of doom right there. And we're going to be seeing, well, Phoenix continue to target down this medevac. Marines going for the MSC quite heavily, really diving onto this. I mean, to be fair, there's no way out, because if he tries to lift up and leave, the Phoenix will give chase, the medevac dies. I mean, maybe unloads a couple Marines, but the medevac dies anyway. Probably best to just stick in the main and make the most of the current situation. Robo facility dropping down as well from Neeb here, so he's starting to set up into this, and as he starts to set up into this robo facility, we're going to be seeing still to the top side a Liberator going to come on up and have a look to see what it can maybe get done in the next few moments. So Liberator setting up from aLive as well. Forge and Twilight Council on the way down then from Neeb, and he is still just building up into this, looking to see, well, what is next. Some more upgrades becoming available here as, well, what else is going on? Stimpack Combat Shields +1. I mean, from aLive, he doesn't really want to do anything for a few moments. He wants to wait for those upgrades to finish, and we're going to end up in a pretty similar position to what happened in Game 1, where he's going to have a very powerful push when all those upgrades do finish up. However, of course, there's that sort of factor that he doesn't have the siege tanks this time around. He's going to go into Widowmine production much earlier on. Didn't build any siege tanks at all. Doesn't feel as though he needs them to be safe this time around. So Cyclone helping to push that Oracle away over to the left side. So Oracle is going to get pushed back, and well, a few more gates added on here from Neeb. There's going to be, what, 6 in total? Okay, so 6 gates here. Just looking, I mean, he's on 3 bases, right? So, I mean, he's just setting up in towards his mid-game production. It's nothing out of the ordinary. He's just making sure he's going to have plenty to reproduce from, make sure he's got plenty to build up with, just make sure he's going to be able to utilize the economy, which he has established for himself over the past few minutes. Couple of Widowmines just continue to come up towards the front, and again, Marines, Marauders setting up the Cyclone 2 just beneath these medevacs. Going to see this Observer overhead. There's 2 Widowmines going to be lifting up into this medevac. So 2 mines into this medevac now, and well, pushing forwards aLive. Looking to see what he can do. 2 more Adepts and a Stalker warping in from Neeb, and well, is this the push from aLive, which can put Neeb into a bit of trouble? He's actually going to split 1 medevac away. I feel as though he's not really going to look to do too much damage. He's actually going to pop these Widowmines down here. She'll pull the probes away. There's actually still going to be a couple of kills. Oh no! Neeb's probe, a traitor, goes into Widowmine range and runs back to the rest of the probes. Disaster, and that's a lot more kills on those Widowmines than I think aLive was probably expecting to get after seeing the initial response from Neeb. Neeb making a little bit of a mistake there and just allowing aLive to close that worker gap a little bit. Make his position in this game just a little bit stronger as we see the 3rd CC about to finish up. And as the 3rd command center finishes up, we're going to have, well, already a turret finishing up here to protect from the Oracle and so on. Looking pretty comfortable as we do see the Widowmines shut down over here in that medevac. So they do get killed off. That's still pretty nice. I mean, overall in this game, 11 workers killed by aLive. Good pressure to keep himself going into, you know, a very strong mid-game at this point. As you see this Marine and Marauder coming in through the center, going to be approaching these Marines and Marauders from aLive as well. And well, there's that Oracle from Neeb, still flying around, looking to see what else is going on. 2 Marines do stem, and well, the Oracle is getting a little bit lower now. A few more Stalkers continue to warp on in, and we do see just still a lot of these units pushing forwards, and here we go. Force field's coming down. aLive going to commit to this fight. Liberators don't siege up. A bit of a miss micro there, I think. He's got them in the same army hop here as his main army, and so he keeps trying to siege them and then messing it up a little bit. I think maybe he just doesn't want to siege them because he doesn't want to commit to the fight. Now he will siege them though, and this is a very narrow entrance to the 3rd base. So this could be a little bit difficult here as we see 1 pylon going down, a 2nd one too. The Adepts still taking a little bit of damage as we see more and more probes being picked off. Some more probes being picked off right now as we're going to be seeing. I mean, this is really, really nice damage at this point as we're going to be still seeing Stalkers pushing towards the front. Another Revelation drops from the right side. Oracle coming back into play. And still these units. Well, now the Mothership Core is full, and that's going to make life a little bit more difficult here for Neeb. As, well, I mean, he's still holding on with an alright sort of army composition and army supply. He's got Colossus starting to join the fray. They will only help him going into these next few moments. As we have got a big blink forwards, and here we go. Adept shading forwards too, soaking the Widowmine shots. albeit all of them soaked in the same Widowmine shot, but it's, you know, it's still something as we're going to see 2 Phoenix here. Somehow these medevacs avoided the Phoenix. Now the Phoenix will come in, lift up 1 to the mines. How to minimize the damage going down right now. Second Widowmine going off. All these Phoenix getting blown up. And there's going to be just a couple Widowmines left over in this position over here. As still units to the south side pushing those few medevacs away. So Neeb holds on. A scary couple of moments, honestly, if you think about it. Like, it looked as though there was moments there where Neeb was just going to kind of die. But he makes it happen, he holds on, and actually the position he ends up in is not too bad. Colossus on the way out. Something which aLive has been able to scout, and you can see his response now. The second starport with Viking production already started on the first. So he sort of sees what's going on already, and yeah, Neeb kind of joined out the front. We're going to see a 4th Nexus coming down to the far right. We're going to see this Cyclone. Picks off a probe over there, Stalker's blink forwards, and that's going to be a Cyclone going down. So Cyclone does fall. And still this Bio Force from aLive moving out onto the map, looking to see where he can go. And figuring out just exactly where he wants to go as well. There's this medevac going to drop a Widowmine down over here, and it's going to actually unburrow and reburrow to try and make it look as though it's already gone off. And is that going to be a little trick which is going to work here? Well, no observer, so I don't know if he's seen it so far. The Stalker, it's going to blink away. So Neeb does know about it, and he's going to we're not going to see that Widowmine picking off any more probes just yet. 4th Nexus comes down to the far right-hand side. Neeb continuing to expand. Not going to take that forward gold base, which is something we see a lot of players doing. I guess the pressure aLive has been putting on is going to keep him away from that. And he also wants to make it more difficult for aLive to push into his extra bases as he continues to set up into them. Does make sense. As we see, still some units to the left now. Positioning, repositioning. Disruptive production starting from Neeb as well as he hit kind of 2 free Colossi. The kind of, you know, we used to see kind of 3 Colossi into Storm way back to Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm. Nowadays, you know, it's the same sort of idea. 3 Colossi is a good number, but then you want another form of splash damage. But it's so much easier to get into that next form of splash damage now, because you don't have to put down the Temple Archives and Storm. You can just go into Disruptors, and that's exactly what Neeb is doing. Disruptors work wonderful, because not only are they splash damage, but they also force the Terran player to not just split, but to really disengage a lot of the time as well. So I like this. I'm actually going to see a big Viking medevac squad going forwards here. See Vikings going to pick off the Observer, which is really neat. Great scan from aLive. I mean, that's so valuable, but at the same time, is that scan just a little bit, you know, sneaky anyways? Does that not just give away to Neeb that something's going on over here? Apparently not, because he's pulling all of his units towards the front. There's a big clump of bio to the right side as well as aLive. Going to look to hit everywhere at the same time. Well, not everywhere, but 2 places at the same time. Working his way through these rocks. That medevac force still in a big clump to the north. Vikings as well to snipe down Colossus who might come in to try and defend. And here we go. Going to stem forwards here, and the idea is he's going to pull units over to this location as he drops into the main, and Neeb has no real way to answer this. I mean, a few Stalkers are here, but they're not going to really help against so much bio. And this bio, some of it pulling away, some of it going to stick around and just sacrifice itself and get a bit more damage done. Vikings pick off the Colossus already, and this is just disastrous right now. You can already see how much damage is being done. Vikings will find another Colossus kill pretty swiftly as well. Disruptor comes through, actually more or less just kills a pylon, more so than anything else. The Forge goes down, so no more upgrades for Neeb. Disruptor's now both being targeted. He has no answer to this. There's still Vikings over here going to get the next Colossus as well, and Neeb's supply is dropping. And it's not just gateway units. He's losing the Colossi. He's losing Disruptors. Everything he needs to kind of really stay alive and continue fighting these armies is now gone. And that's just going to be GG right there as Neeb realizes the situation. GG's. aLive picks up game number 2. And he takes down Neeb 2-0 in the best of 3 from Group B of IEM Katowice.